What have been, you've observed suffering, darker aspects of human nature in your own personal life. What has been some of the darkest moments in your life, darkest times in your life? Is there something that you went through and then perhaps you carry it through your work?
Yeah. Probably one of the darkest moments was an experience that I had again in my early 20s. And I was living in Southern California. And the Pacific Coast Highway that goes north and south along the beach, and there's that little concrete path that people jog and ride their bikes. And I was riding my bike on the PCH. And I was coming up to a corner on it, and I heard this tremendous crash. And it was really loud. And I came across around the corner, and it was a car accident, a car crash. It was a multiple vehicle crash. And what had happened is that a Volvo had hit another car, and then when it hit it, it went over the top of the car and hit a Volkswagen van. And it peeled away the top of the Volkswagen van when it hit it and then landed. So 3 vehicles, and it had just happened. Mm-hmm. And lying in the middle of the road was a body, decapitated. And there was another person from one of the cars lying in the middle of the road, still alive. And then on the hood of the Volvo was this woman who had come through the windshield, just a mess, blood everywhere, moaning back and forth. And a bystander ran into the middle of the road and started administering first aid to the person lying in the road. And I stood there watching this scene, and every fiber of my being wanted to run to the woman on the hood of the Volvo and do something, anything, right? Just to be there. And it was obvious to me that she was going to die. But I felt like at least if I ran there, I could offer some comfort for her last moment. And right then, the sirens started to blare, and I knew that there'd be paramedics there within minutes, that people would come to help. And I froze. And I was scared. And I didn't do anything. And I watched while this woman died on the hood of the Volvo. And that experience is sort of seared into my consciousness. The fact that I watched and didn't act, I feel is one of the great failures of my life, that I wasn't able to act in a moment of need, no matter how small. And from that, I made a decision out of that experience that if I ever found myself in a situation where I had the ability to act, and I could act, to help another human being in such need, that I would act, that I wouldn't let fear freeze me. Instead, I would allow that fear to catalyze me into action and do something and intervene in whatever way I could, even if I didn't have the skill set.
And in some ways, all of that echoes in your documentaries. You're not going to let fear stop you from trying to help.
I think that experience, that experience of failure, what I framed as just human failure on my part, is foundational probably to my work. Like, I don't want that to happen again, Legs. I don't want to be that person who watches. I want to do what I can when I can.